I just was talking about this, if not yesterday, 2 days ago, where like Code Pink, they do some good work and we hope, but I always ask the question, somebody said in the chat, how come they're always getting into all these places around these places so comfortably? Like it feels like it's almost like pretend. And I don't want to, downgrade any work that Medea Benjamin may have, but that's just not a good look. You want to be welcoming to people. That is not a good look. You want, because think about the people who Marjorie Taylor Greene could reach. You mean to tell me you don't want her audience, her supporters, to be on your side of being anti-war? It doesn't make strategically, it doesn't make sense to me. But go ahead.
Now, one thing I would say is that this is not a reflection of Medea Benjamin at all.
Right.
According to what I heard, like she has no sway with this organization anymore. She's retired. She's on the board. Medea like always resists like the shit-lived tendencies of this group, and it's good that they support war. And I have defended them whenever they are attacked by imperialists and neocons, but we also got to hold them responsible and accountable for just general bad strategy and divisive tactics, right? So their whole protest was all about, oh, we got the Ukraine war. This is existential. There's World War III that's about to start right now. And then right-wingers like, hey, hell yeah, this group is based. I want to help you guys end World War III. And then Code Pink like, no, not you guys. I don't want to work with you guys in nuclear war. That shit is deeply unserious to me. Jimmy, I know you want to chime in. Go ahead.
Can I say I saw a tweet from Due Dissonance yesterday saying that 8 Republicans did more for the anti-war effort in one day than Code Pink has done in the last 25 years. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Hey, it's facts. It seems true because they slowed down the Ukraine war funding. And many the more young, liberal-minded Code Pink people, they still have liberal Democrat Party apologia. And the reason why I put back on this because this is Democrat Party apologia. And I'll read the tweet before I get into that for people who haven't seen it. And they said there has been some confusion about an image that was taken with Code Pink volunteers, Marjorie Taylor Greene, where Marjorie Taylor Greene opportunistically approached our volunteers. You mean support your action? In a parking lot on the Hill, and she requested they take a photo together. So what I did when I first covered this was use this as a rhetorical tool to advance our interests. So what I said, without even praising Marjorie Taylor Greene, is how do we have Bernie Sanders arresting anti-war activists while we have far-right extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene stand with us? Like you guys said, you can use this as a rhetorical tool for you, while also building a coalition of people that need to address an issue. You think you're going to end the Ukraine war with only liberals? What the fuck is
this reminds
me
so
unserious.
This reminds
go
me
ahead.
This reminds me of about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I saw somebody tweet out, "Hey, what are we supposed to do when Trumpers want to join our union?" And I said, "You declare victory, you fucking idiot. That's what you do."
Yes. I swear to God, I told you guys.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand.
We have a manufacturer left that is designed to lose. Like, the idea is that you want people, no matter what their ideology, to support you. Turning away people who support your action is ridiculous. And I love that. I made a lot of shitloads upset when I was criticizing them. I love it. I'll tweet something now. I'm all for the funk. I am willing to challenge anybody on this. So let me read this and I'll make my argument. So do your organization really think, this is what I said in response. So do your organization really think you're going to have a successful anti-war movement with only liberals? So many people on the left view activism as some sort of social club that replaced high school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is literally what it is. And it shows. I don't give a fuck if we get along and we like each other. If you want to end war, we end the fucking war together. We go into war to end war together. That's what it fucking means. These people miss high school. The high school was the prime of their life. So now they want to build a social club, and that is what activism is nowadays. And I don't give a fuck how much funk I get from these people. I reject that wholeheartedly.
So
I know you want to try to go ahead.
Can I make one quick point? So in in Ukraine right now, the people who are most pro-war are the Nazis, right, in Ukraine, along with NATO. But so let's say a bunch of the Nazis decided they were done fighting because they're getting wiped out and they want a peace agreement. That what that means is you have to join with those Nazis to have a peace agreement, because you're going to have to join with them eventually, because they're the ones you're going to be negotiating with for a peace deal. And if they want a peace deal, you have to then join with them. You fucking idiots.
Hey, Jimmy, you want to know how unserious these people are? Lula in Brazil, who's been calling out the NATO war, help expanding BRICS. You know, a large amount of his constituency are Black evangelical socialists. So in Brazil and in the global South, there are socially conservative socialists. That's why Lula has to appeal to socially conservative groups. He got criticism from the left for being weak on stuff like abortion, for example. Why? Because he has to appeal to evangelical socialists. So in America, Jimmy, these people, the NATO left, the boutique left, be like, we won't work with Lula supporters. We don't want to work with the Black evangelical socialists in Brazil because they don't have the right position on abortion and gay rights. So are you not working with the global South socialists? Where do you draw the line? Go ahead, Jimmy.
So that shows you that those people aren't serious about organizing. They're not serious activists. They look at politics exactly as you said, as another extension of high school, and it's just another a social club for them. They could be Absolutely. In square dancing. They could be in a ski club, but they decided to be in a quote unquote anti-war club or whatever it is, and it's just bullshit. So that's right. You have to meet people where they are, and you have to organize around single issues. And if you want, just like I said with Christian Smalls did on Staten Island, the way you organize is you go, hey, who's here wants to join with me, because we're all being screwed over by the man economically, and who wants to join together to oppose the man on economics. You don't go to the shop floor and go, who here's a Boogaloo boy? You're out. Who here's a Proud Boy? You're out. Who here doesn't support trans rights? You're out. Who here's a gun nut? You're out. Okay, who's left? Now that's not how organizing works. That's not what Christian Smalls did. And that's why they never invoke Christian Smalls, and they never want to talk about his example, because they're all phonies and liars. And that's why we can't have anything nice on the left, because they're all infiltrated. They're all controlled opposition. And that's what this is. And that's why they hate people like you. That's why people like Ryan Grimm and MSNBC Contra, they recognize you because you're speaking truth. And the only thing that can cut them off at the knees is truth. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what real activists are doing. That's what real radical Black activists are doing. And when we do that, they call us Trumpers. They call us crazy. They call us nuts and like flailing and all that stuff. And that's because they are the mouthpieces of the establishment willingly. And I guess it just, again, this is such a big mask off moment from forced to vote until now, and it's not stopping. And I'm ready for a real revolution. Bernie Sanders stopped talking about revolution in 2017 after he got his mind right and he endorsed Hillary Clinton. He stopped talking about revolution. So it's all over. It's not going to come from your leadership. It's got to come from the grassroots up. And that's why they had to demonize the truckers in Canada as right-wing Nazi white supremacists, because that's the thing that actually works. When you get your trucks and you shut down capitalism, then they have to deal with you. And the way they dealt with it was they called them Nazis, white supremacists, and they shut down their bank accounts. They treated peaceful protesters like terrorists, and that's what they're going to do to us, and that's what they're going to do to anybody who actually figures out a way to protest the man, the establishment, and the oligarchy. They're going to make us, well, Barack Obama signed the NDA 1021 in 2011, which, what did that do? It took away habeas corpus, which means that they can arrest you and they don't have to give you a trial. All they have to do is say you're a terrorist. And so when you go, just if you oppose the DAPL pipeline, they say you're an eco-terrorist, just like they're doing to the Stop Cop City.
Mm-hmm.
They're using the RICO statute, which was written for the goddamn mafia, and now they're using it against people who are protesting the expansion of the police state. And it was so disappointing to see Cornel West pretend not to see the connection between the Democrats using RICO against their political enemies like Trump and using it against their political enemies like Stop Cop City. That was such a disappointment and a letdown, because he knows there's a connection, but he doesn't have the courage to say it and speak out about it, which is why he's an ineffectual candidate. One of the reasons.
This is Cold Pink in a nutshell. Like you guys, I'm going hard, and there are people fucking furious at me right now. I don't give a fuck. You got no, I don't give a fuck. But this is what I'm saying. This is Cold Pink. The Ukraine proxy war is provoking World War III. It is crucial that we organize and stop the war. Do you have a right winger? Hell yeah, I agree with you. Let's find a way to stop it. No, I don't want to organize with you. You just said that we're in a crucial moment where we got to resist World War III, but you want to cut the movement in half? The fuck? And I said a bunch of morons who don't understand you build coalitions to solve issues. So is Marty Taylor Greene pro-war on Mexico and other issues? Yes. You call them out when the opportunity arises, but you form a coalition to end the Ukraine war. Nothing else is relevant. And I'm tired of morons pretending they don't understand how coalitions work. If I'm going to work with a conservative to increase housing, to make housing more affordable, I'm going to disagree with that conservative on other issues. Those other issues don't matter if we fucking working on housing. The same thing applies to Ukraine. You fucking idiots. We will resist them on China and Mexico later. Let's work together to end Ukraine. How is that so hard for you fucking morons to understand? I got all the phone.
Because it's a social club. It's a social club. They don't understand politics like that. Politics is with their friends. We're going to events. Let's go do a march. Come on, guys. That's to them. So when you say, what do you mean? I'm doing politics with somebody who I don't hang out with? That is so foreign to them. They don't understand that type of power, I would say.
I want to say this, because I want to wrap this up. I apologize for going long, TJ, but this is the most important part, guys. Because what do actually serious people say? And sometimes even professional managerial class people pretend to understand this. That politics is mostly local, fam. Another reason why it's ridiculous to say Democrats are less than two evil when you see what Democrats do to our communities, like in increasing the police state side and with real estate development companies to make housing unaffordable, for example. Now, for the people who usually that advocate against organizing with people you disagree with, conservatives, they use the red, brown line smear tactic. Jimmy and CJ, I noticed something. I will always look at their location, and these motherfuckers will always be in New York and California.
On the coast.
They will be in deep blue areas saying stuff like, you should never organize with conservatives. Deeply unserious. So, fam, you guys know where I live? I live next to Joplin. In Joplin, there were sightings of KKK a few years ago. One of the most conservative districts. I'm just outside of Kansas City. I live in a red state surrounded by conservatives and social conservatives. I refuse to let these shitlibs who live in blue areas tell me it's somehow morally wrong to work with my neighbors for the betterment of humanity. I will die on this hill, and I will take these morons to the grave fighting with me. Because I have cousins and uncles. I was at a family gathering, and I was talking to one of my cousins, a childhood friend I hadn't seen for a long time. She's extremely religious. And then she said something that will get her canceled on the left regarding pronouns because she's religious. She's socially conservative. Fam, you understand I'm surrounded by those people? And I did a mutual aid drive. If I had your ideology, I'm turning everyone away when I'm giving away diapers. I got a coat drive. People are like, hey, Nick, I want to donate to your mutual aid. Hey, do you believe that? How many genders are there? Will your stance on pronouns? That is fucking ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing to say to people who live in red states, people who have conservatives they got organized around. If you have the ideology of Cold Pink, how does a socialist in Tennessee organize? See, you guys see how this stuff they don't think about? Go ahead, Jimmy. I know you want to chime in.
So
I'm done.
So what that is they're reinforcing the democratic narrative and the establishment oligarchy narrative that the person who your enemy is your neighbor and not the establishment. They want you to turn on your neighbor and keep you distracted by hating your neighbor. Hey, Trump voters aren't keeping you from healthcare. Trump voters don't want to fund the Ukraine war. Trump voters aren't your enemy. They're the ones who were completely wiped out by the lockdowns during COVID, just like everybody else. They did a controlled demolition of our economy, and they want me to blame my neighbor for the pain I'm feeling economically because they wouldn't take a vaccine that didn't work the way they said it did in the first place. Well, I'm not going to blame my neighbor. I'm going to join with my neighbor against the oligarchy because that's the only thing that scares the oligarchy. And as soon as you talk about joining across political lines and organizing along class lines, that's when they turn on you. They say red-brown alliance, you're working with the bad people, you're not supposed to work, because that's the only thing that scares the hell out of the establishment when they see people from the left and the right coming and coalescing around a common idea. I remember when Jay Buffon told me that when we
Yeah.
should go to the war, the Rage Against the War machine, even if those people who are speaking there weren't for LGBTQ rights. He said the way you get them to be for that is you engage them, and then they see that what they think about you is actually propaganda, because they
Shout out
get
to
to meet
JB.
you on a one-to-one, and that's how you turn people, and that's how you bring people over to your side, not by demonizing them, not by apologizing for taking a picture with them when you agree on the same ideas. That's exactly the wrong strategy. And I'm not going to hate my neighbor. I'm not going to blame other people without power. I'm going to keep my eye on the powerful. I'm going to keep my eye on the oligarchs and the politicians, and I'm going to join with my neighbor, because that's the only thing that scares them. You're 100% right, Nick.